Here we go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our weekly webinar. Thank you for joining. We have a little bit of a slow morning. We have at least one visitor. Hi. For those of you that don't know, you're allowed to come and visit us by the live webinars on a weekly basis. So today we're going to be discussing the radar linkage between radar and PTZ itself. So this is just on the technical side. We don't have a module ready for product introduction. So I thought of just adding it quickly into it itself so that you can see a little bit of the product and understand a bit more before we go to the linkage between the two. All right, so if for those of you that don't know, there is coffee here. We are trying to sort out everything so we can have our snacks here and all the other nice benefits as well. All right, so just to go through this quickly, I'm going to minimize this so you guys don't have to see that. Or let me just make sure. There we go. Yeah, all right. I don't have to see that. Okay, so it's out of the way. So just starting off, obviously, the radar is a device that we'll be able to use to detect any objects in that environment area. So just to showcase it a bit more, to explain it, normally it will go on top of a PTZ. So we'll link it between the PTZ itself. So if the radar detects any human beings or vehicle, whatever you assign it for, then basically what will happen is the PTZ will pan and tilt towards that area if you've been set it up correctly. So this is a very nice device, especially for bigger environment areas. So the nice thing about this radar detection is instead of now going to put up multiple sensors or cameras, you have one single device. Your PTZ will carry on doing patrols. Once the radar detects something, the PTZ will basically automatically pan and tilt towards that area, following the object until it can't see it anymore. So not all PTZs can do that, only certain linkages can do that. So we'll go through that. Right, so I don't know why the mouse is rolling very slow on this. It's not a PPT, it is a PPT, but it was actually more of a PDF file. But anyway, right, so we can link up to 4 cameras itself. So it gives us the capability of linking 4 PTZ cameras to a single device and vice versa again. So we can have 4 radars to 1 PTZ or 1 radar to 4 PTZs. It's up to you, right, for your environment. Obviously, it's weatherproof, it's outdoor use, etc., etc. So now just having a look at the normal way of detecting. So it's got quite a vast amount of distance. So there's different models. So just to give you a rough idea, we have a 90 meters, a 60 meter, 120 meter, a 1.5 kilometer radar detection itself. But the radar detection family doesn't end there. We also have it in our PTZs inside the PTZ now, and also on our ANPR cameras for number plates recognition. So you have a little bit of both, and we'll go through that just now. So it makes it a little bit easier. So you can actually cover quite a big area of human detection and have your PTZs linked to that. Right. So just to show that different areas itself. So as soon as it detects, it will go into alarm and the PTZ will obviously pan and tilt to that area. This is almost like the image that you'll see. So this is from a normal point of view, just to show you that quickly. So as you can see, the people are walking. And that gives us the indication the PTZ will automatically start because they've crossed that line itself. So it will automatically start pan and tilt towards that area, follow them until it can't see them anymore. So for a zone alarm, that's when we have a little box intrusion area. So that gives us the capability if there is maybe a human being that's not allowed to be there, it will automatically detect it. So you'll see it will start following that person, which is a very nice feature for any business. All right. Okay, obviously following up with that, these type of applications will be used for multiple big places. So it's not just for the general use of big industrial areas. You can also use it for maybe smaller areas. So yeah, they have it at a pool area. So to make sure that nobody goes into the pool to alert them what's going on itself. Being proactive regarding the safety. So this specific model is 120 degree at 120 meters out that it will see. So it basically detects anything in 120 degree angle, and it basically covers the whole 120 meter out. So that's like an ice cream cone, if I can put it that way. Makes life easier on this specific model. So like I said, we have other models as well. So just to showcase that a little bit, let me quickly go like this. So again, just to showcase this is just the normal model itself. Like we discussed just now, this is the 60 model. So it shows you all the specifications of that. You're allowed to draw all your alarm areas. You can draw up to, you know, depends on your amount that you need for that environment. I don't think most guys will go more than 8, but you can. It can track up to 32 targets at the same time. And obviously the PTZ cannot follow all of them. That's why you can link 4 PTZs to that area. So most areas for that kind of distance, you're going to need maybe about 4 PTZs, and then obviously 1 radar. So that's the whole idea and application for that. Just a little bit of the spreadsheet there. So if you would like to go look at that. And then the next one is just to showcase, we also have it on our new ANPR camera. So this is fairly new. We are still, it's available, but we are still testing it here at the office. I would like to do a proper demonstration of that, but this is just a little bit of a guide to show you guys how that would look like. At the bottom of it, you'll see there's a radar that built onto it. Some of you might be familiar with an additional one that we already have now available, but it has this little screw at the bottom. So you can put that little radar underneath it. So it has that analytics. So just as normal, a normal ANPR camera will draw the line. And then once the vehicle crosses that area, it will take the snapshot of the number plate and then push it through to the algorithm. But obviously the radar is more advanced, so it will detect and just carry on pushing that through. So just to showcase that also as a radar product, you know, seeing that we don't have really a product introduction of the radar, this is just to show you guys a little bit of that. All right. So moving along, I've shown you guys that, I've shown this, yes. And then just to go down, we've gone through this as well. So yeah. So the next up is, let me show you guys 1 or 2 videos. So if you joined the channel a little bit earlier, you would have seen this already. But I just want to show you guys that first of all, from my point of view. So this is a video clip of the radar, just to show you how that operates and how that works. Right. Hope you guys can hear that. Doesn't seem like it. I don't think the sound is coming through. Okay, give me 1 second before we carry on. Let's see. There we go. Share sound. Huh. Still not coming through. All right. Doesn't seem like there's any sound coming through. Let me just double check. Nope. No sound. It's a pity. Let's see if I can fix that while it's busy playing. Nope. Okay, I don't know. It's definitely not playing the sound. I'm just going to stop it right there. Let me share it in a different way quickly with you guys. Just so we can get the sound out. Okay. Oh, sorry, my mic was muted. So that is just to showcase that a little bit to give you guys a better understanding regarding that PTZ. So as we discussed earlier, you have that capability of linking up to 4 PTZs. So let me just go up a little bit. So there it says maximum of 4 PTZs, and you can basically vice versa. So there's a lot more applications regarding this, and we're busy trying to focus on where we can showcase that a bit more. There are companies out there that has already been using this, that are familiar with it, that has got training on it. So keep that in mind as well. There are people that has been doing this for quite some time. Then there are also people that are using the following model. So there's a different few ranges on that. Like I mentioned earlier, it's the PTZ with the built-in radar on top of it. So that radar is already built into one IP address. So a nice idea about it is one power supply, one Cat6 cable going to it. You don't have to do multiple configurations. Everything is on one device. The nice thing also about that is it's one license fee, but you can obviously, you have to pay for your channels, you know, for HIK-Central, but it's one license fee for that IP address, but it's obviously 2 devices, so it gives you that capability. Very similar to our tandem view. So now I'm just going to show you guys quickly the next video. I just want to close this up, show you guys the next one of that same one that we are discussing. Let me just share that with you guys quickly here. There we go. This is the all-in-one. So it's the PTZ and the radar. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. So as you guys can see, that's really a nice setup. So let me just share this again with my screen. Share, no, wrong place. Share, there we go. Okay, there we go. All right, so as I mentioned, it's not just on the normal devices itself of a radar, it's also on the PTZ, which is a very nice feature. Obviously, the whole idea for today was to showcase the linkage between the radar and the PTZ. But like I mentioned, I just wanted to do a quick product introduction. So I quickly scattered around for a few little things just to show you guys, to give you a better understanding of what that basically means. So it makes it a bit better to understand. There are companies, like I said, that's already used these PTZs with the built-in ones. And I can honestly tell you, and they can tell you also, that they know who they are. I've dealt with them and had a little bit of discussions, and it blew my mind what they did. They put it onto different locations, and it really works very well. So if you would like to be more interested in that, please speak to your salesperson or your indie, and they will be able to get you in contact with the great people to be able to make that arrangements and do maybe a POC for your company, or maybe for mine, or whatever the case might be. All right. So next up is just to show the different ways that we can also use the product. So I'm just going to share another last video, and then we'll go through the linkage material itself. All right, here we go. Okay, there we go. Sorry, we were having a conversation this side, so if you were here, you would have enjoyed the conversation as well. But anyway, let's not go through all that. So just to quickly go through the next material, like I said, for the, what do we call it, the PPT for the linkage itself. Oh no, where am I going? Screen, there we go. Okay. Okay. So let me open up this a bit bigger so you guys can see it. Any day, someday, somewhere. See, now I went and changed on its own. Ugh, great stuff. Okay, display settings. I know it's somewhere here. Swap it around. So unfortunately, you're going to see the next slide. They're going to see the main important one. All right. So just to go through that linkage itself, first of all, obviously, you need to log into the camera. That will help. So you need to log into the PTZ. Once you logged into the PTZ, very importantly, will be this section here. Can you guys see it with the mouse? Let me do this because I have to hammer on this section here. This part is very important, right? Reason being, you need to make sure that it's set at -20 to -90 degree angle. You need to have that degree angle. If you don't have that degree angle set on your PTZ, you are looking for trouble. Keep that in mind. Obviously, make sure that you save it. Some guys go and click on it and they don't save. So thereafter, the next step is you need to make sure that your PTZ is looking at the middle area of your degree angle for your radar. So wherever your radar is looking at and your PTZ is looking at the similar area, this is the best rule of thumb. I'm not saying there are other ways, but just giving you guys an example. So make sure that you have your PTZ in the same line 50 meters out with another object. So it could be a tree, it can be a mark on a wall, on a building, whatever the case is. Make sure that you have that line of sight, make sure that you have that set in and it's tilt and pan to that environment. Right. Next up, is it going to move? There we go. Next up is obviously from the PTZ itself, we'll go through to make sure that it's got the 3D is enabled. That means basically once you pan and tilt it up to that area, it will set the image in its center point. So to make sure that the point is centered for that image. All right. After that, we will basically go through the normal configuration itself onto that. So make sure that it's been set. And then we're going to be logging into the radar itself. So once we log into the radar through that, we need to link up the rule, the smart rule itself for the camera linkage. So by doing that, you obviously go onto that for your normal way of linking. It will ask you for the IP address of the PTZ. You input the IP address, the username and the password as normal, say okay, and Bob's your uncle, it will show you there and you say save. Right, so it's on it. Next up is obviously if you are done with that, we need to link the two together nicely now. So we're going to go through our normal way of doing it on IVMS. Please take note, I think it is mentioned somewhere. I can't remember if it was here or somewhere else, or maybe my own personal training in the past. But anyway, if this is the case, you need to make sure that the PTZ is allowed to be able to handle a radar. There's different models. Well, I think we've got it. I think it's a FW PTZ. It needs to be. So there's certain ranges, and also the IVMS needs to be the latest updated. There is an IVMS model that's specially designed for radar, so keep that in mind as well. Okay, so we're going to add it as normal, very basic. I don't think I need to go through all that information with you guys. It's very, if you don't know how to add a camera, best is not to start with radar at all. Rather go to normal IP cameras. Okay, thereafter, you're obviously going to be able to import that in. So this is the normal steps. So after you've imported it into that group itself in that channel, then you'll be able to find it and link them together. So this is very basic itself. There is, let me just go out of this one. I think it is, there we go. It wasn't this one. Nope, nope. Where are we going? There we go. All right. So by doing that itself, once it is linked itself and everything is connected as correctly, the next step is now to make sure that we pull in the EMAP. So for those that don't know what an EMAP is, it's a Google map or an Earth map itself. So that gives us a normal landscape of where the environment is. So you can either get that from the guys that did the planning for the property or whatever the case is for the company, or some guys are just using normal Google Earth itself and capture that info. So there is courses and understanding and material about how to add an EMAP and how to edit and all those, but we're not going to go through that. This is just for the linkage itself. This course means that you already understand all those things. All right. But if you don't, please make sure that you go through that. So this is just a little video to show you guys how we're going to edit that and add it in. So this is very important. I don't know why it's not going bigger. Can it go bigger? No, it can't go bigger. My apologies. So just to showcase that itself. So then you just plonk it down. There we go. And you set it up. So now you got it. Now you can change the degree angle, whichever direction. There is a manual one as well, so you can physically do it on your own. Okay. Next up is the master tracking itself settings. So this is also very important. So this allows us to change the settings of what we would like to track itself in that environment of the field of view for that PTZ itself. So just to show that also as well, there is the radar, that's our PTZ. So this shows us the tracking. I don't know if you guys can see the movement on that small little image there. You can see how they are moving around, and we know that it is actually set up. So very importantly, we call this also calibration. That calibration needs to be set in that environment. If you don't do it correctly, your product is not going to work correctly. It's very similar as the AccuSense. If you don't draw your lines correctly, then you are going to get false alarms. If you don't get any false alarms, it means either you didn't enable it, but if you do get false alarms, it means you didn't set it up correctly. So it's a catch-22 situation, but they do work if you do it correctly. Right. Next up is going to be the multi-point itself. So this allows us to draw multiple points itself on the map to be able to say what it needs to track at that environment. So this is just going to quickly show you guys. Please, again, this is very short, so don't get bored too quickly. But this is a very nice feature. You can actually see them moving around on the map. So if you do have IVMS 4200, the latest version, or HIK-Central, you'll be able to see that. So there they put out a little environment now just to do that testing to showcase this. So there they've got that PTZ linkage. So need 4 points. And there we go. They drawed the zones. Okay, that's the next step. Okay. Anyway, so going on with the next step. Are we on the same one or are we in a different one? Yeah, I think I missed that one. Oh, there we go. So there's that area that we are drawing up. That's especially for what we are focusing on. And then obviously make sure that you name them correctly, because a lot of the guys don't do that. All right, set it up with which PTZ and which link you would like to. So each application is different. Keep that in mind. Right. So then we go to arming our device. So we need to arm the radar to ensure that everything is tested. Also make sure that there's nobody or no objects in that environment. This is also very important. It's not just with normal testing itself. Make sure that your environment is ready for you to test and do calibrations. This is also very important with a lot of other products. So you can see on that little picture the movement of the people. You can see it on the map. Actually, people are moving. You can't see the people, but you can see that there are objects moving. Okay, and that's in real time, by the way. Right, so now we've got our area. You should be able to see some more movement. I think it could be the next one. Right, step 8. Oh, yeah, step 8. There we go. So this is just to showcase from our side itself. This is a POC that was done. It's as well. So let me just show you guys that. There, the person is walking. Yes, it's on a laptop. It's a remote area, so it was just a POC for testing itself to make sure that everything, the guys is walking around and the PTZ is following him no matter what. It shows it also on the radar map itself, so you can see that movement as well. Obviously, the image is not the best quality. The video recording was recorded this way, so it happens. So this is just a nice way to showcase that. I'm just going to jump a little bit ahead. Person is still walking and it doesn't stop following him. So, all right. So very nice showcase on that. Next up is just to show, there we go. Okay, so please make sure your model is one of the latest firmware itself. Make sure also the baseline is a FW because, you know, depends on that series, but also on the Darkfighter series, you know, a little bit tricky. You are going to get that error. So again, if you are doing a POC or if you are doing this for your client, please make sure that you speak to your sales consultant or your salesperson, your sales rep, your indie, whoever the case is. They already know this. You need to have the right radar model and the right PTZ model. So don't go and say, okay, we already have a PTZ, so let's just add a radar. You're creating problems for yourself. So best is to take the products correctly or go with a new one that's got the built-in radar inside it itself. Okay. Next up is obviously also the firmware. We do have a radar version for the IVM S200. If you're not sure about that, again, speak to your representative and he will be able to, or she will be able to direct you to the correct person to get in contact to get that so you guys can do the proper setup of that. Okay. And like we mentioned, we don't really keep the stock of the 100 in South Africa. We mostly have the 60 meters, the 120 meters, and also the 1.5 kilometer range itself of radar. That's also very popular. So yeah. Okay. And then next up is, oh, thank you. Oh, all right. There we go. Okay. So that was it. So let me stop share there. Okay. So that is the linkage between a radar and a PTZ. So I hope that gives you guys a better understanding. If you would like to go down that little rabbit hole even more, we do have special courses on our PTZ site and radar for that. You can obviously just discuss that with your ND or with our office to create that appointment. We also have our e-learning platform. I know a lot of you have registered. I received more than 574 emails. So thank you very much on that for registering. There's a lot more work that needs to be done. So you'll get that update information. There's a lot that's obviously not smooth at the moment, but I think for the tool and what it does in the capability will help you guys a lot more. You'll also get a notification email of our Inside Classroom on that e-learning platform. We'll post all these videos as well and all the training materials, and I'll have additional ones for you guys to help a little bit more. All right. So thank you very much. And remember, you can come and visit us. And thank you for joining. As always, after this, we'll do a Q&A. So if there's anybody that's got any questions, just stay tuned and thank you very much. Let me just stop this recording.